Let's talk about schema therapy. Schema therapy came out of psychologists who've been working with people using CBT for a number of years, and they found that some people definitely improved, and there was a lot of research proving that CBT can be as effective as exercise sometimes, as well as medication. There's proven research around that, but they found that some of the people were resistant to change, not consciously necessarily, but the CBT wasn't quite getting there. They kept bumping into the same issues over and over. So they wanted to dig a bit deeper and potentially blend the working on your thoughts today with where some of our ways of seeing the world and seeing ourselves comes from. And most of that originates in your childhood. It's not only your childhood, but can certainly be from teenage years and also significant relationships that we've had along the way. So schema therapy, if you think of what a schema actually means, it means just a belief. It's a belief that you have about who you are and what you're capable of and where you fit in the world and how you relate to other people around you. And most importantly, relates to your most important relationships in your life. The subconscious mind, as you know, is quite powerful. If you watch my video on the subconscious mind, it works in the background, and when we find ourselves doing certain behaviors in our relationship that don't make sense to us, even when we have certain addictions, if we are anxiously attached to the people around us, or we avoid getting too close or attaching, this is part of attachment theory. A great book to read on attachment is called Attached. So worth a read on that one. But these things all relate to formative experiences when we were young, and we create this coping strategy to deal with it. Now, there's three main strategies for coping. There's avoidance, there is surrender, and there is overcompensation. So avoidance, for example, when you were young, you're growing up and a parent says, you're no good, you're stupid, you don't know what you're doing. Now, if you internalize that, if your strategy is avoidance, you are not going to put yourself into a position where that schema could be triggered. So you're not going to challenge yourself. You're not going to try and do difficult things. You just don't want to engage with that schema. And this is quite subconscious. Then there's overcompensation, which is when you go completely the other direction and you go, I will prove to the world that this belief that I have about myself is not true. And then there's surrender, which is just giving up and going, this is just me. This is how I am. It's because of my genetics. It's because of how I was raised. I can't change it. Now, we keep doing those into adulthood. And it's usually in your most important interpersonal relationships, usually your closest, like your romantic relationship, that these schemas tend to cause trouble for a lot of people. And I see it playing out over and over again. And it's part of the reason why when I do couples work, a lot of the tools and the communication strategies do refer to understanding why somebody was triggered and where that might come from. So it's very helpful to understand what your schemas are so that you can then start to use something like CBT to challenge those schemas and to start to change some of those habitual ways of living your life, especially if you find yourself doing things over and over again or running into the same life problems over and over again. There's probably a schema at play that you need to work on.